Live from Columbia, this is WIS News 10 Sunrise. Live, local, now.
Good Monday morning. Thanks for joining us on Sunrise. I'm Emily Scarlett. Meteorologist Adam Clark joins us this morning with the latest, of course, on Hurricane Isaias as we continue to track the storm's path and possible impact to our state. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning there, Emily. Yes, it's a tropical storm Isaias, and that's what we're looking at currently. It is an alert day because of Isaias, and we can expect gusty winds, heavy rain, flooding is also possible. There's several warnings just over to our east, Clarendon and also Orangeburg County until Thursday at 1:56 in the morning. We've also got a flash flood watch in parts of Sumter and Lee County. That lasts till 2 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Tuesday, excuse me. Partly cloudy skies currently, but let's take a look at where she is. It's down, or he is, down to the south, and you can see a few sprinkles and showers still around Hilton Head, and winds currently right around 70 miles per hour. So we're getting some of those onshore showers already in the southern coast of South Carolina around Hilton Head there. So as I said, 70 mile per hour winds. It's moving north-northwest at 9 miles per hour, and the pressure currently at 995 millibars there. Now you can see the track from all the spaghetti ply here showing very good agreement, and it's just one individual model. These are a whole bunch of individual models that are grouped together. It shows us a good bit of confidence that we're going to see landfall later tonight around midnight in the South Carolina, North Carolina coast. Now as we progress into the latter half, it just really makes its way up to the north and east throughout the eastern seaboard throughout the rest of this week. So here's two comparison models here. We've got the European in red, the GFS in black. Very good agreement. This is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they both have the center just off the coast of Georgia. Then as we head into midnight, landfall. And both of them, the European's a little slower. That's the red right here, the circle. These are basically lines of equal pressure, isobars. And the American model's a little faster. It's got it moving into North Carolina sooner at midnight tonight. And then it keeps it around North Carolina into Tuesday and into the evening and into Wednesday. It's out of here. So here's looking at the track around 8 o'clock this evening, 70 mile per hour winds. We've got a tropical storm status. It's going to be really close to hurricane status, but and it actually could strengthen just a little bit to hurricane, but there's not much difference between a really strong tropical storm and a low-grade hurricane, a Category 1 hurricane. Now, as we head towards 8 o'clock Tuesday morning, we're expecting it to be in North Carolina, but here's a close-up view. Here's the cone of uncertainty. Still parts of South Carolina, not in the Midlands, but if it tracks a little further to the west, we will see more effects here in the Midlands. So that's one thing that we have to watch out for. And here's looking at the futurecast. You can see the rain making its way in right around lunchtime today. A southeast wind around 23 miles per hour at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then heavier rain around 3 to 6 inches possible in the PD region, and as the storm makes landfall right around midnight and pushes up to the north. We'll have more information on the Isaias, and it looks like a better Tuesday with a west wind there. But today our high temperature is up to 86 degrees, 80% chance of some rain here in the Midlands, breezy, and 82 around 1 o'clock. More on this storm all ahead.
Thanks, Adam. Some breaking news from overnight. Myrtle Beach police are still searching for a missing swimmer there. Police say they received a call at about 8:19 last night after that swimmer went missing at 28th Avenue South. Officials with Myrtle Beach Police say that search has continued overnight and into this morning. We'll provide updates on this incident as soon as more details become available. And here's a live look now from Myrtle Beach as Tropical Storm Isaias heads towards the coast. The South Carolina Emergency Management Division is encouraging residents in the path of the storm to finalize their storm preparations. SCEMD recommends bringing in any lawn furniture and other loose objects like garbage bins that may become dangerous in high winds. They also recommend double checking to make sure you have all emergency supplies listed in the South Carolina Hurricane Guide. And in case of any power outages, they also recommend keeping those cell phones and mobile devices fully charged. You can find that Hurricane Guide and more information on SCEMD's website. Many already seeing strong rip currents along low country beaches this weekend. Boaters, business owners, and city leaders have all been preparing ahead of the storm. Now, some boaters along the coast used the weekend to send their last boats out before pausing operations before the storm. Charleston Mayor John Tecklenburg says crews have been lowering lake levels, dredging drains, and opening garages to get the city ready for possible heavy rain. He says no matter the storm size, he wants people to take this seriously.
Just stay at home, batten down the hatches, hunker down, and let's stay put all Monday night.
You can never be too safe because you don't know where the winds are going to come from. You don't know how bad the rain's going to be.
Several municipalities in the Low Country plan to hand out sandbags ahead of Isaias. Turning now to our coronavirus coverage, DHEC reporting 1,110 new cases yesterday, bringing the total in our state to 91,257 cumulative cases since mid-March. DHEC also confirming 27 additional coronavirus-related deaths in our state, bringing the death total to 1,709. Those 27 deaths took place over several days dating back to July 26th. The percent positive is now at 15.2%. Today, stronger coronavirus requirements on businesses in South Carolina go into effect, while other establishments are being allowed to reopen under Governor Henry McMaster's new executive order. Employees and those who enter government offices must wear a mask while inside the building. Restaurants are also now required to follow the guidelines issued by the Accelerate SC Task Force. That means employees and customers will have to wear a mask. Tables need to be 6 feet apart and no more than 8 people per table. Governor McMaster is also allowing entertainment venues like stadiums, movie theaters, concert halls, and auditoriums to reopen beginning today. But those businesses can only have 50% capacity or no more than 250 people, whichever is fewer. They must also practice social distancing and all cleaning practices put forth by the Accelerate SC Task Force. To see that full list of which businesses are reopening and those guidelines from Accelerate SC, just visit this story at WISTV.com. Now, in your crime alert this morning, 2 people are dead and 1 is being treated for serious injuries after a shooting that happened around 2 a.m. yesterday. That happened on the 1100 block of Allen Street in Casey. 20-year-old Isaiah Bailey was pronounced dead at the scene due to multiple gunshot wounds, and 19-year-old Kajari Brown suffered a gunshot wound to the upper body and was pronounced dead at an area hospital. Another person was seriously injured and taken to the hospital. This is an ongoing investigation, but anyone with information on this incident is asked to call 803-794-0456. 2 people are dead in Newberry County after a deadly boating accident Saturday night on the Broad River waterway. Authorities say 27-year-old Jamie Lindler and 28-year-old Andrew Bunnell were involved in a boating accident around 9:45 Saturday night. The Newberry County Coroner's Office and the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources are continuing to investigate this collision. Autopsies for both Lindler and Bunnell are pending at this time. And coming up on Sunrise, an organization started 1 decade ago is making a difference in the lives of Black women in America. Details on how this group is committed to providing support and safety to Black women nationwide when we return. Concern for safety is one reason some African-American women say they don't feel comfortable going out for a run. So as Stephanie Gosk reports, one group is getting healthier by training together.
Good morning. It's so quiet. 4:45 a.m. in Stone Mountain, Georgia. This is what commitment looks like.
When I wake up and I don't feel like rolling out the bed, I know there's some ladies on the pavement expecting me, waiting for me.
This particular morning, there were 5 out here together to run.
We have runners, we have people who run and walk in between, but there's always going to be somebody waiting for you at the end.
And in many ways, that is the principle behind Black Girls Run, an organization started over 10 years ago, now with 74 groups nationwide and 250,000 members. The group committed to accountability and encouragement. J.L. Alexander is the CEO of Black Girls Run.
We think it's, very easy just to get up, lace up your shoes, and just head out the front door. But as maybe not many people realize, sometimes just by our skin color or just by being a woman, that sometimes makes us very vulnerable.
And creating a safe and supportive way to run can help turn around a deadly epidemic, overwhelmingly impacting African Americans. 4 out of 5 Black women in the U.S. are overweight or have obesity, leading to high blood pressure, diabetes, and stroke. And all of those diseases make people more vulnerable to COVID-19.
It's super crucial that physical activity plays a role in preventing weight gain.
What would you say is the most important message, particularly for young Black women when it comes to exercise and their health?
Just do it. Activity is by far one of the things that we can do, or we can take ownership of and do in such a way that we're going to feel better.
For April Moore, finding this group was a lifeline.
My mother suffered a stroke when I was 16 years old, and so watching her and the impact on her health has definitely been a motivating factor for me.
Now she's running marathons in far-flung places.
We are officially the largest group of African Americans that have ever run a marathon on Antarctica, so it was a pretty dope experience.
Back at home, there is strength in numbers, and these women are only getting stronger.
Good job, we got it done.
Stephanie Gosk, NBC News.
Hello there, I'm Adam Clark. We're tracking Isaias. All the convection right now with this storm on the north end, the center of circulation. Still not a defined eye, but it's trying. It's being shredded a little bit by some upper level shear. We are looking at some showers around Hilton Head. We've seen some sprinkles and rain around Beaufort and Hilton Head thus far in western sections of Charleston County, but just clouds to the south of Columbia. So making landfall today in eastern South Carolina and North Carolina. Mainly this evening, it looks like. Tropical downpours, gusty winds, locally more coastal impacts than anything. Main impacts are here this evening. Here around the Midlands at least. So there is a warning in effect in the area shaded in yellow, a tropical storm warning, and that includes Orangeburg County and Clarendon County, and that lasts until the storm has passed for 36 hours here. There's also a flash flood watch for Orangeburg, Clarendon, and also Sumter and Lee County as well. We could see some heavier rains and a steady heavy rain for a while. That could lead to some ponding on the roadways. So let's take a look at this cool storm. This is a 3D image of it. You can see the tops of the clouds right here. It's just really cold. The brighter red, the colder it is. And here's South Carolina. So all this activity slowly moving up to the north. Right now the winds are at 70 miles per hour, moving north-northwest at 9 miles per hour. So it's really close to hurricane status. At 74 or above, we have a hurricane, and right now the pressure's at 955. So here's the track around 8 o'clock this evening. It's just off the coast of Charleston, and then it starts to move in right around midnight tonight. Now, as we take a closer look, it could be anywhere from just east of Florence all the way to Cape Fear, over to the east there. So the cone of uncertainty has shrunk a little bit, and that's good news. That means we're more confident in the forecast. The spaghetti plot that I just showed you earlier in the show, they were all nicely compact. That's great. It makes forecasting a lot easier. But anywhere from Charleston over to the east into the Atlantic. So if it does take a more westward trajectory, that means we here in the Midlands will see some more effects, some more rain, some gustier winds. So stronger precipitation precipitation, more precipitation, I should say, as well. So as we head into Tuesday around 8 o'clock, it's all the way up towards New Jersey with 45-mile-per-hour winds. So because of that potential, we've got an alert day today. If it moves a little bit to the west of that track, then we'll see some tropical downpours, gusty winds, and flooding possible. And as you just saw, we had warnings already in our region. So let's take a look at wave heights. This is at 10:30 in the morning and today, and you can see around 20 to 25 foot waves. And this is offshore, and that gets a little closer to home as we head towards 6 o'clock in the evening around Charleston County there, and then about 10:30 tonight, getting closer to Horry County, but not quite there, Georgetown, that area. And then by 4 in the morning, it's in North Carolina. So some big waves leading to potential storm surge of around 2 to 4 feet from Edisto Island all the way to Cape Fear, 1 to 3 further down to the south, or 1 to 2, I should say, around Hilton Head. So that's what we've got to watch out for. You can see these areas of green indicating 4, possibly even 6 foot storm surge. So that's what we got to watch. And winds over 39 miles per hour. We've got a decent shot of actually seeing that in parts of the region of eastern South Carolina. This is about a 70% chance of actually getting 39-mile-per-hour winds around Myrtle Beach. And then by 6 in the morning, we've got about a 70 to 80% and really close to 90% chance of at least getting tropical storm force winds for a sustained amount of time. But here in Columbia, it's about a 5%. Again, this is Tuesday at 6 in the morning, and then everything pushes up to the north by the afternoon, and then we start to clear up just a little bit. So here's the Futurecast. Let's take a look at when the rain arrives around lunchtime. Got a band that comes in, a southeast wind at 19 miles per hour. This is at noon. By 4 o'clock, we've got more rain moving in, heavy rain over to the east. It's making landfall, and as you can see, the really bright colors over to the east there, continuing up to the north and east there. So as far as accumulation goes, about 4.27 in Myrtle Beach, about 3/4 of an inch here around Columbia. Here's looking at the 10-day. It's an alert day today. 86 degrees is our high, low 90s Tuesday and Wednesday. A decent chance of some showers and storms for the rest of the week and into next week as well.
The National Park System is in desperate need of repair. There are more than 400 parks, historic buildings, and landscapes that need a little love. Congress overwhelmingly approved the Great Outdoors Act that will pump more than $6 billion into much-needed maintenance. NBC's Mark Barger reports.
America's parks are getting a much-needed facelift.
Hundreds of millions of travelers visit these parks each year, and the fact is that some of them are over 100 years old.
We want to make sure they're accessible for people now and for generations to come.
Most years, more than 300 million people visit the 419 national park sites, which span 84 million acres. But many of those parks are crumbling. A $12 billion backlog of repairs. The recently passed Great American Outdoors Act will address more than half that amount.
This would be the biggest investment in our parks and public lands since World War II.
This is really a monumental win for our national park system.
Travel expert Janine Tornatore says aside from the obvious beauty of places like the Grand Canyon, Yosemite, or the Grand Tetons, there's a bigger takeaway from visiting.
Simply the recognition of the conservation that's needed within our country.
Maintaining the parks is critical not only for the wildlife and the ecosystem, but for the communities surrounding many of these national treasures.
Taking care of our parks ensures that those 300+ million visitors to the parks are going to continue coming. And when that happens, they are spending dollars in local communities,
allowing a revitalized park system to generate even more than just beautiful memories. Mark Barger, NBC News.
And still to come here on Sunrise, due to the pandemic, there are many factors driving up the risk of drowning. More on what safety experts say may help when we come back. Worldwide, there are an estimated 320,000 deaths from drowning every year. And this year, safety experts worry those numbers could be even higher, due in part to the pandemic. Sarah Dolph has this story.
Sweltering summer temperatures, closed public pools, beaches without lifeguards, and people desperate for relief during the pandemic, all driving up the risks of drowning. In New Jersey,
I heard two voices screaming. I think there's at least one out there.
A Good Samaritan rescued a man who went into the ocean to help his daughter, then needed to be saved himself.
It all happened in the blink of an eye.
In Lake Michigan, more than 20 have drowned this year. The Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project sharing these photos of people diving in from bridges, breakwalls, and bike paths.
People are going to remote locations where they're going to be farther away from help, farther away from rescue equipment.
Safety experts are also concerned about an increase in tragedies closer to home as more families invest in backyard pools while most swim schools are canceled.
Wherever there's water, there is a danger.
The Red Cross is moving their in-person classes on water safety and CPR online during the pandemic. The message, reach and throw, don't go, applying to all bodies of water.
The last thing we want to do is have somebody who is untrained go in the water, and then we end up with more than one victim.
The organization is also reminding people never to swim alone, to designate a water watcher when kids are present, and that drowning rarely looks like what many expect.
It is not yelling and splashing typically. Most often it's fast and it's silent.
Lessons that might save lives during a summer unlike any other. Sarah Dolph, NBC News.
Let's keep it safe out there. Thanks so much for starting your day with Sunrise. We've got much more news and weather in a couple of minutes at 5.